We're back for another news video today, and we're gonna try and keep it positive because it was a little depressing, or, well, the last one was a little sad because it's never easy to report news about people passing away, especially people that you grew up watching. Again, but, we're gonna start with some bad news to get the bad news out of the way first, and that is that AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt have seemingly suffered injuries. I believe AJ Styles' injury would have happened at the Columbus House show on December 26th, and Bray's injury seemed to have happened at the Madison Square Garden show on December 26th because the Madison Square Garden show, the Garden show was for SmackDown, and the Columbus show was for Raw. But AJ Styles' injury is an ankle injury, as he was helped to the back during his match with the Judgment Day, the six-man mixed tag team matchup. And it appears to be an ankle injury. It does not appear to be severe, as there was no reports of AJ being injured and out long-term. So I'm going to wager against and say it's not a severe injury. It was just a precautionary measure that they took him out, that they helped him to the back. It is unclear if AJ is going to be missing any time, but this is the worst possible time for anybody to go down with an injury in WWE because we are on the brink of WrestleMania season, with WrestleMania season coming right around the corner. As far as Bray Wyatt, there's a video of Bray Wyatt disclosing to a fan after his match with Jinder Mahal at the Madison Square Garden show that he broke his finger. So again, it's not, fortunately for WWE, in both cases, the injuries don't seem to be severe. Again, I could be wrong with AJ Styles, but there's even a rumor that Bray Wyatt's not even injured. But either way, Bray's injury, broken finger, though the broken finger is a devastating injury and could be problematic, it is not an injury that will require him to miss any in-ring time or a significant amount of time. Like an ankle injury may force AJ Styles to miss some time because, well, it's harder to wrestle on a injured ankle than it is to wrestle with a broken hand or a broken finger. And also, well, with Bray, with how often Bray has wrestled since he returned, it should affect. I don't think I've ever seen Jerry Lawler do a frog splash, but that's just me. But it should affect AJ Styles a little bit more. But again, from what I understand, it doesn't seem like a severe injury, but either way, I wish nothing but the best to both Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles as they are both nursing their respective injuries. Speaking of updates and wishing nothing but the best, I wish nothing but the best to CM Punk as we wrap up. As it appears, we're going to wrap up 2022 talking about the hottest story of 2022 one last time, and that is CM Punk may never return to AEW because there are members of the talent roster in the back that have said that they will push to never let Punk return to AEW. One of them being Chris Jericho, because in Chris Jericho's mind, well, I can't speak to Chris Jericho's point of view, but I do understand the logic. That if you view Punk as somebody that would hurt the environment and the backstage standard, then I would say it would be for the best to believe that Punk should not be a part of AEW. And that you should do what you can and have your backstage pull to block him from coming back. But at the same time, you gotta know what's best for AEW and not what's best for you. And you gotta do what's best for AEW. And if what's best for AEW is to include CM Punk in the backstage, in backstage and within the company, then, in my opinion, Jericho and others need to put their selfish behavior aside break bread and do what's best for AEW and not what's best for their own egos. But either way, I agree with Jericho. I don't think Punk belongs back at AEW because I think both Punk and Tony Khan had different expectations of what his run would be like in AEW. According to Dax Harwood, Punk never wanted to be AEW World Champion, but Tony Khan pushed to make that happen. So I think that it was just difference of expectations. I do believe it was a difference of expectations, and the difference of expectations ended up costing both guys because it hampered what would have been a very positive and profitable run and would have allowed... Am I doing a last man standing match? I don't think I'm doing a last man standing match because I couldn't get up. I think the game is good. I'm very confused. But either way, I don't know what to say about the Punk situation right now. Because as far as I'm concerned, if Punk is done, then let him go. He's not going to go back to WWE. He's done with professional wrestling. And I think it was just a difference of expectations from both parties as far as what the expectation was for Punk's AEW tenure. Which, I mean, it is unfortunate, but I do wish for Punk's sake that he would have been able to end his time in the ring on his terms, sort of like Sting is getting the opportunity to do after not being able to do it in WWE. But I do hope that if Punk does want to return, he does get the opportunity to end his in-ring career on his terms. Speaking of Sting, though, I mentioned this. I did mention this in yesterday's video, but I only glossed over it. Sting spoke to The Ringer recently and was asked about how he would like to end his career, or like the end of his career, and, well, Stinger basically went on record saying that he understands that his career is going to be ending at some point, but the fact of the matter is, he's not ready to end it just yet. And that he knows that when the time does come for him to end his career, it will not be a singles match. He feels like he's not capable of having singles matches anymore. But he knows that whatever his last match will be, it will include Darby Allin. It will include Darby Allin, and that he has people in mind. It's like I said yesterday, Sting spoke about his retirement match, but was very vague in talking about his retirement match, and did not give many details about what he would expect for his retirement match, outside of it would include Darby Allin, which I, for one, am not at all surprised by. A slight update on the AAA and AEW working relationship, because how the wrestling, rumor mill works is that a lot of people have been left to wonder if AEW's relationship with AAA was in the shitter after AEW and AAA, after AEW talent FTR, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Mello were all lost their respective AAA championships in the span of one night. But so it has warranted people talking about the possibility of AEW and AAA's relationship being down, and not as good as it was. I think that it's more likely that AAA just wanted their championships back on active wrestlers, contracted employees, because think about it, Dragon Lee and Dralistico won the AAA tag team titles only to vacate the titles because Dragon Lee was going at WWE. You're gonna sit here and tell me that AAA did not know beforehand when they planned out the show that Dralistico and Dragon Lee were going to vacate the titles right after winning them, but they still let him win it. You know what I mean? So it's not on FTR. It's about the fact that AAA wanted their championships back around the waist of people who work for the company. That's all they wanted. And I completely understand that, because in some cases, they've had their titles around the waist of people that don't work for the company for over a year. And it's the fact that I do think what happened with Sammy and Ty Mello did play a part in it because of travel issues, because of, all the other outside circumstances playing a part in the fact that they were not able to come into the company, and issues, travel issues, illnesses, double booking, etc. has played a part in it, and AEW and AAA was just tired of it. AAA was just tired of the fact that they were playing second to AEW for some of their champions. And in my opinion, that's the reason why AAA has gone in a different direction to take the belts off of the AEW talent. It's not because they have any issue with Tony Khan and AEW. It's because of the fact they just want their contracted employees, people who will be there with no problems, no issues, people who will be there without question, to be the champions within the company, and that makes complete sense. The last bit of news that I want to report is that Dragon Lee is projected to be the highest paid NXT star when he starts with the company. When he starts with the company in January, and is projected to be on the main roster by 2024. And it is expected that Dragon Lee will get a heavy push when he starts with the company. A little bit of interesting news to also report is Dragon Lee pushed for WWE to sign his brother Dralistico as well, and WWE rejected that offer at this point, but that does not mean that they will not look to sign Dralistico at some point in 2023. One other bit of news that I just want to clarify from a previous news video, and that is the Great Muta Final Bye Bye Tour. It seems like there was a difference with dates, or a mix-up with dates, and it is more likely that the Final Bye Bye Tour is just going to take place throughout the month of January, but I will get more clarity on that in January, as based on reports that I've seen, it does seem like the final match is taking place on January the 21st, and it will be the 6-man tag team match with Sting, Great Muta, and Darby Allin against opponents to be determined. But the first match of the Final Bye Bye Tour from Great Muta in Pro Wrestling Noah will be on January the 1st, with Shinsuke Nakamura being his first opponent, and the first time I can remember a WWE contracted employee working for a Japanese promotion in the modern era. So 2023 is gonna kick off on a crazy note, as the Forbidden Door is not going to be a term we leave in 2022. With that being said, though, these have been my thoughts on wrestling, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below on anything and everything that I talked about, because I am signing off until next time. I will see you in the next video.